practice, I would say about 80% of the clients that I have anxiety.
Yeah, and they
So
usually,
how did you come up with this?
well, they usually have anxiety over money. Am I right or am I right?
It's anything.
Or better yet, there are a lot of the anxieties over money. How about that? Money seems to be the number one worry of a lot of people. It's the number one cause of things like divorce and all kinds of issues. Am I correct on that?
Well, you are correct on that,
Or
but
definitely top three. You can't tell me money's not a top three issue.
well, money is one of the hard reasons. There's soft reasons why people have anxiety, but or couples have issues. The soft reason is that they're not communicating properly, they're not respecting each other, they're not getting along. Um, Having issues with finances, those are kind of hard reasons. They're called hard reasons why people have problems. But I was just saying, like, you mentioned anxiety, and yeah, there are people who have financial anxiety, but there's also people who have just anxiety in general in a bunch of different areas. So why not have anxiety be an issue with your finances as well? Anxiety
Okay.
over their children, issues with their kids, anxiety over what to do next, just in general. So it is related to finances.
Well, let me ask everybody in the chat. First of all, give us a yes if you can, if you're able to hear us okay, and the audio's coming through. We're testing a new audio system as we get ready for our event in Chicago. We're getting ready for Chicago next week. And if you guys want to come out to that event, just go to boyceandalicia.com. And we're going to spend the whole day pretty much talking about what a drama-free lifestyle looks like. Being drama-free means being trauma-free. And that means addressing your financial trauma, addressing your relationship trauma. It means really doing the work, because I don't know about y'all, but there's a lot of trauma in our community. As we were watching Snowfall last night, we were just like, sheesh. I mean, Black people just go through it. PTSD everywhere.
Well, they were going through it for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just an accurate reflection. Okay, so I see KJL and Tracy Jefferson and Sandra Frazier all said that they can hear us. Thank you so much. So give me a yes or no. Everybody answer in the chat. Everybody who's listening, they can type on the screen. Answer this. How many of you have felt some kind of financial discomfort, some sort of financial worry, some sort of financial anxiety? Or something where you feel a little bit nervous about finances, particularly what's going on with the stock market. Give me a yes or no in the chat if you felt some of this. It seems like that financial anxiety is pretty like common. What would you say?
Yeah, well, the thing is that, well, when you say financial anxiety, that makes it more clinical, but really it's just worry. We're all kind of worried about our finances, particularly when we get our statements every month. And like I got my statement I read this month, and I had a decrease of 5% decrease this month from last month from my retirement. And you do get kind of worried, but I'm not so worried because I can say, okay, I'm buying now and I'm not retiring now. So it's part of the anxiety is what you tell yourself when you see something that's less than ideal. Do you tell yourself, oh my God, this is a catastrophe? Or do you tell yourself, okay, this is what happens. Things go up, things go down. I'll just wait this out and I'll have a plan in place. Diversification should get rid of your worry, right?
Yeah, well, that's what they say. I mean, that's and let's talk about that a little bit as we kind of move forward. I want to try to I want to move forward in some of our slides real quick because I kind of want people to kind of have something to work with, or maybe a framework they can use to help them deal with some of what they might be feeling. So right now, what's going on is the stock markets keep going down. Financial anxiety is at an all-time high. I say this is a natural reaction to what's going on. I remember in graduate school, we used to spend a lot of time talking about financial psychology. That was actually an area that I specialized in. And, one of the things they talked about were things that we're seeing right now, like stock market overreactions, where you see these wild, crazy swings in the market because either people are feeling exuberant and they're feeling high, or they're feeling crushed and scared and they overreact, to the downside. And that's what people are kind of dealing with right now. And I would encourage people to take stock of their emotions right now. But that's my armchair advice. What are some thoughts you might have in terms of how people can kind of process what they're seeing without kind of freaking out?
Yeah. So the thing, I think I was talking about this with you before about how you just have to have a plan. You have to sit down and say, let me just look at my portfolio in general. Okay, a certain percentage should be risky, a certain percentage should be stable, a certain percentage should be put into regular savings. So it's just looking at your financial portfolio and figuring out what you're comfortable with. So my comfort level is so different from your comfort level. And I personally can't adhere to your level of risk voice. I'd be so anxious I wouldn't even go to sleep at night because you're a little more risky than I am. And that's great for you. And I respect that. But for me, I'm a little conservative. So part of it is just understanding what you're comfortable with and stay within that realm. And the issue where it turns into anxiety is that once you start realizing who you are and what you're comfortable with, the anxiety should go away. There shouldn't be residual anxiety. Worry is a good thing and it should motivate you to stay on top of your money. But once you are on it and you see what's going on and you have a plan going forward, the worry should go away.
Okay. Okay. So you're saying basically if you have a plan and you're kind of taking, facing it head on. I like that a lot. And one of the things that I, have always tried to tell people when it comes to the markets and stuff like that is that a lot of this is temporary. The market doesn't typically keep going down forever. The average bear market lasts about 14 months. And so, I find that sometimes the best investors are the ones who are the least attentive when it comes to what's going on with their stocks. They're not sitting around freaking out over every little market move. They're not worried about what happened last week. They just check their portfolio once every 6 months, once every year. And sometimes ignorance can be bliss when it comes to investing. What would you say to some of what I just said?
Yeah, that makes sense. You really have to keep it into perspective because where you start getting into this little worry unraveling that can happen, where it can lead into full on anxiety, is that you keep thinking, what if this happens? What if that happens? Oh my goodness. What if we go to war with Russia? Then what is that going to mean for us? It's just all of these what ifs. All of these what ifs is going to happen. And usually it's the thinking process, it's the negative thinking where you attune yourself to all of the disaster. And that's why I tell a lot of people, turn the news off. Like, stop listening to CNN or MSNBC or even Fox News for that. Stop listening to that because first of all, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't control it. You can control how you react to it.
Mm. Well, I like that a lot. I like that approach. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control your reaction. And I also tell people that financial balance is really important. That you know, some investments might not be for you. A lot of times we get advice from our friends, and our friends will be like, "Oh, you got to buy this stock or put your money in crypto. If your money in crypto, you're stupid." And or you got to buy this raggedy coin that nobody's ever heard of, but I believe in it. And if it doesn't feel right, you shouldn't do it, And I compare it to like if your cousin comes up and says, "Hey man, I'm making a whole lot more money, than you are slinging cocaine." That doesn't mean you should go and become a dope dealer unless you're ready for that life, unless you understand what it means to be a dope dealer. So I would encourage people to just kind of pick investments that kind of fit their risk profile. Like you said, you're conservative. I take risk. That means that the way I invest is going to be different from the way you invest.
I think it also means we make a good team, boys.
Yeah, we do.
Because I mean, and at the end, if someone's more conservative and someone's more risky, I think that's the best combination. So we complement each other. I'm not going to look at you and say, be like me. I just respect how you are, boys.
Because opposites attract. It ain't fiction,
Paula
it's an
Abdul?
actual fact.
2 step forward and 1 step
I take
back.
2 steps forward, you take 2 steps back. Anyway, let me quit. My singing is absolutely terrible.
Your singing is great, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I love you too.
We got to do some more karaoke.
Yeah, right. Hey guys, by the way, we're doing an audio test, but you could call this an episode of Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia. And we're talking about financial anxiety, and I want to remind everybody that we actually have something that we put together called the Drama-Free Lifestyle, which involves the ability to create in your life drama-free finances and drama-free relationships. But getting to be drama free means you have to be trauma free. That means you have to cleanse your system, your spiritual life, your psychological life from the trauma that you experienced as a child. My wife is a licensed therapist and a full professor of social work, so she can deal with all the trauma stuff. My PhD is in finance, so I can explain some things to you in terms of economics. So if you'd like to get some free information to kind of get started toward a drama-free lifestyle, feel free to go to boyceandalicia.com. And also, if you want to come to our event in Chicago, it's adults only. It's going to be this Sunday. We're only going to do Chicago one time. I may not be back in Chicago doing another event for another 3 years. It took us 3 years to get back to Chicago. So we're going to be in Chicago one time only on May 15th. So if you'd like to join us for our adults only generational wealth and legacy event, feel free to visit boyceandalicia.com. Okay. So let's dig in.
Wait, I just want to say something about the event.
Yeah,
It's going to
sure.
be fun too. I
Yes.
mean, we're going to have serious conversations, but I think I think the
Mhm.
weather is going to be really great. I'm looking at the weather. And so hopefully that will bring people out and we're going to have a good time. We have drinks. We're having a bar, boys.
Mm.
I'm sipping mimosas,
Okay. We will, and there will
by
be
the way.
mimosas. There will be mimosas. There we
Okay,
go.
there we
There you
go.
go. I forgot to mention that part.
Come on.
For all the drunk people in the building. All right. So let's get going. All right. So financial balance is the key. I would say also cash is king, the way people are investing now. I'm going to talk about this in a little bit when I start my stock market class, which by the way, if you go to boycewatkins.com, you can do a free trial in the class if you want. But, a lot of these companies, they have to have cash. Cash, it becomes king when there's a downturn. You see, here's the problem. A lot of people will tell you cash is trash and that you shouldn't sit on a lot of cash. But that's only under the assumption that the economy is doing well. When the economy is doing poorly, the people with the most cash are in a strongly advantageous position because they can buy assets cheap. Also, you may want to find methods to minimize your stress. Keep your stress from kind of going over the top so you don't freak out and lose it, even if it means looking away. And so, Alicia, I'm going to turn it to you. And as I mentioned, a couple of more financial thoughts and tips that people might want to consider. First thing is that consistency is also key. This is actually the best time ever to buy stock. A lot of stocks are very cheap right now. Later on in class, I'm going to talk about specific stocks that I pick for my students that I think everyone may want to look at. And also, Warren Buffett also said, "Be greedy when others are fearful." That means when people are running from the market, that's when you should jump in. Do you have any thoughts based on what I just shared?
Yeah, I really like the consistency because that's what makes you feel secure. You have a plan and you have a consistent plan. And for me, that's what I did. I was just really consistent. I wasn't really paying attention. And next thing I know, and I entered, I got my job after my PhD in 2008 when the stock market was crashing, but I was just entering into, and I was just stay consistent. I maxed out my 401k and all of that. And so I look at my portfolio. I mean, it's fabulous now, so the consistency piece is great. And I like your cash is king scenario because you never know who's swimming naked till the tide runs in.
Mm.
That's
Well,
what that
yeah.
reminds me of.
Well, yeah, a lot of these companies are swimming naked. A lot of the companies that a lot of people were investing in during 2020 are going to go bankrupt because these companies can only survive if they raise money. They don't have revenue that is sufficient to fund their expenses. So they were used to just going back to the bank to get, new loans to carry them,
Mhm.
or raise money through equity. Now you can't do that very well, right? There was a boom with this thing called SPACs, special purpose acquisition companies, where companies could raise billions of dollars pretty quickly because people were ready to throw money at anything. Now that day is gone, So yeah, so be careful. Like watch out for those crazy risky stocks. So let me move to the next thing. I want to mention something, everybody, a free resource. Alicia mentioned earlier that a good way to get ahead financially is to have a plan, or a good way to deal with anxiety. Financial anxiety is to have a plan. Well, I have a $5 a day investing plan where I'm asking every Black family to make what I call the $100,000 pledge. The $100,000 pledge means I want you to pledge that you're going to have $100,000 in liquid assets available for each of your children by the time they're 25 years old. Now, is this hard to do? It does take some discipline, but I can show you a very easy way to do it. You literally can do it especially if you have a young child. All you got to do is invest $5 a day into some sort of index fund, something that tracks the S&P 500, and never sell those assets until that child is 25. So I'm not asking you to do anything miraculous. I'm not asking you to go out and become a rich person. I'm not asking you to go out and find $1,000,000. What I'm asking you to do is invest $5 a day for your child and do not sell the assets that you purchase. So if you'd like to see the $5 a day plan, there's a whole ebook I put together on this topic. It's available on Amazon. It does have a price of $14.99, but you can have the ebook version of the book at blackmoneyminute.com. That is free. You can have that for free. Go to blackmoneyminute.com. If you want a hard copy, you can go to Amazon and find the book on Amazon. So Alicia, as we kind of close out, and I'm going to put our other website address up here as well, if people want to learn about the drama-free lifestyle and things like that and things that you do. Tell me any thoughts that you have sort of closing as we kind of deal with what's going on with the markets and everything else.
Yeah, I'm glad you said thoughts, because that's really where anxiety kind of comes from. There's something that happens that's less than ideal, and then all of a sudden you can't get a hold of your thoughts. It just unravels into this negative pit that causes anxiety. And so I do think you should pay attention to what you're thinking. And the negative thinking is something that can cause anxiety, and not only anxiety, but also depression can really put you in a bad mood. Just because if your money ain't right, I can't walk around and feel secure in myself. So I think you should watch your thoughts and try to figure out, okay, who told me that this was going to be a catastrophe just because it didn't go my way? And so being more positive and having affirmations, can put you in a better mood, which can, attract better things to you. So don't let fear cripple you and turn this into some negative sort of spiral, which I see a lot of people do.
Well, I'll tell you, I told Tater, our 11-year-old, I told little Tater, I said, we were talking about fear.
Yeah.
And I said, fear is the worst prison that you will ever be locked up in.
Oh my God. That's so true.
Yeah. I said, do not allow yourself to be incarcerated by fear.
Yeah. Because there's so many people who live with regrets.
Mm-hmm.
And, I talked to them like, what was it? How were you feeling in that moment that you didn't go for what you knew you should have gone for? And they say, I was afraid. I was afraid of making a wrong decision. I was afraid of doing something. I mean, fear can really cost you a lot of opportunities. It can cost you your happiness and your mental health. So just embrace. If fear is the only thing that's stopping you from doing something, you just got to do it. That's not enough. How brave is it to get married? How brave is it to invest your money and put your money out there? How brave is it? You just have to be brave. Conquer that fear.
Yes, absolutely. Well, everybody, thank you all for listening in. And again, if you want, as a thank you for those of you who joined us and allowed us to kind of test out our audio system and hung out with us, we'd like to offer you some free resources at boyceandalicia.com on how to get rid of the drama in your relationships, get rid of the drama in your finances. We're not just two people with opinions on the internet. This is what we do. This is what we're trained in. My PhD is in finance. My wife's PhD is in social work, and she's also a licensed therapist that sees couples on a regular basis. And I didn't put her website address up here, but it's coachingwithdralicia.com. So she does see clients, and I'm not sure if you have room for any more clients because you seem kind of booked up. But
I'm a little booked up, but I'll have some room.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Great. All right. So maybe people can, it seems like you have so many people that reached out. So everybody, also give me a yes in the chat if you're going to invest for your kids. Give me a yes if you're going to go and consistently make some investments for your children. I'd like a verbal confirmation that you're going to change your life and the lives of your children. It would be a waste of all of our time if we're sitting here just talking and nothing changes for you. I want your life to be better. I want your kids to be out of the economic struggle. I don't want your kids living in a trap. So give me a yes in the chat if you're going to go and make some consistent investments for your kids so that your kids don't get left in the same situation many of our parents left us. I don't want your child having to go to work at a horrible job and dealing with racism because they don't have any assets. I don't want them to be in a position where they have to go make a landlord rich because they can't buy a home. I don't want your child to be buried under a lifetime of student debt. I don't want your child having to date a horrible, raggedy man because he can help her pay the rent. I don't want your kids in a tough situation that so many of us end up in. So just give me a yes right now, please, if you will consider investing for your kids. And again, blackmoneyminute.com is where you can get the free ebook, the free copy of my book, How to Build Wealth by Investing $5 a Day. Or you can actually, if you want a hard copy, you can go to Amazon. It's up on Amazon. So have a good day, everybody. And we'll see you guys in Chicago if you guys want to come out. If you go to boycenalicia.com, you can find the tickets there. So thank you all very much. Have a great day. Happy investing. Hit that thumbs up button, thumbs up on your way out. And we'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone.